Good morning. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you just fine.
Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Morning, sir.
Judge.
Sorry, I had to get the fresh coffee.
I've lost.
All right, Chambers County Probate Court come to order. First on the docket is number 116, the state of James Bruce Flitter.
Judge, okay, let me
Ms.
see.
Clapper on.
Yes.
There
now
she
I'm-
is. She was
And Mr.
having a
Parker.
little technical issue.
I
Ms.
was,
Clapper is.
yes, but I'm on.
Oh, I see Georgia there. Okay. All right. If you're going to testify today, I need you to raise your right hand so we can swear you in.
Right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Clapper, you may proceed, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge. This is an application to determine heirship. Is your name Sue Lenny Flitter? Yes. And are you the wife, now widow of James Bruce Flitter? Yes. And did you and Mr. Flitter both live in Anahuac Chambers County, Texas since 2003? Yes. That's a lot more than just 6 months prior to your husband's death, correct? All right, and at the time, you looked everywhere for a will, right?
Yes, I did.
You couldn't find one.
No,
So we're here to determine who the heir of your husband's estate would be. Now, your husband was married 2 times, correct?
yes,
And the first was to Marjorie Delina Pittman Flitter on March 19th of 1966. And that ended in divorce on January 16th of 1973, Family Court of Charleston County, South Carolina. And no children were born to or adopted during this marriage, correct? All right. So Mr. Flitter didn't have any children so far.
no,
Then he married you on April 5th of 1973, and the marriage ended upon his death on October 23rd of 2021.
right,
Were any children born to the marriage?
no,
Was any child adopted during the marriage?
yes,
Your child, Terry Lynn
that's right. Yes,
Cody, who became Terry Lynn Flitter.
yes,
All right. Now, Terry Lynn was married twice during her lifetime, correct?
yes,
But she died in 2013. And in either one of the prior marriages that ended in divorce, was any child born to that marriage?
no,
So she died without any children.
right, yes,
So as of 2013, neither Mr. Flitter and you in your marriage had no children.
no,
And Mr. Flitter, during his entire lifetime, did he have any children?
no,
So at this point in time, the only person that would be the heir would be yourself, correct?
yes,
Now, you've been married twice before, but at the time that you married Mr. Flitter, you were divorced from all of those previous husbands, correct?
yes,
All right. So you're asking the court today to determine who are the heir of James Bruce Flitter's estate. And you guys have 2 pieces of property, the one here in Chambers County and some lots in Galveston County. Is that correct?
yes,
And there's a mortgage on the estate, correct?
yes,
And you have to deal with some community debts and with disposition of the community estate, basically. And there are some medical expenses. And you're asking the court to approve the application to determine heirship, determine that you're the heir, and to enter a judgment. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, we're required to have two witnesses. Darlene, are you present?
I am.
And would you tell the court your name?
My name is Darlene S. Duhan.
All right. And Ms. Duhan, how long have you known James, Bruce Flitter, and Sue?
A little over 10 years.
Okay. In fact, I'm thinking it's, yes, that's true. And you met him first through Terry, the daughter.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in your you signed and filed a heirship affidavit in this matter, correct?
Yes.
All right. And going through that, you live quite close to them, don't you?
Yes.
And you've taken them to the doctor,
Yes.
and you've interfaced with them on a personal basis.
Yes.
And you've talked with them over the past 10 years to
Yes.
know about who their heir would be. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, in your communications with them, you learned that Mr. Flitter was married twice.
Yes.
The first ended in divorce,
Yes.
and the second, the widow is sitting here with us before the court.
Yes.
That's Sue Carol Flitter. And the child that he adopted, you actually knew, Terry Lynn Cody Flitter.
Yes.
And you knew that she did not have any children at the time of her death.
Yes.
All right, so that at the time of Mr. Flitter's death, he had no children,
No.
and his only heir is Sue Carol Flitter, who is sitting here with us.
Yes.
And if I ask you all the questions of all the research that my office did and you helped them with, would they be correct?
Yes, they are.
All right. Then that you also know that our tract of land, which is just around the corner from yours, is here in Chambers County, and she's talked about the 3 lots over in Galveston County.
Yes.
So to your knowledge, are you the only heir sitting anywhere is Carol Flitter?
Yes.
And is anybody interest in this estate?
No.
Anybody promising you anything, money or anything for your testimony today?
No.
All right. I would pass the witness to Mr. Parks.
Ms. Farr.
Miss Duhan, you're the mother of Tracy, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And I talked to you on January the 3rd, 2023, around 3:00 in the afternoon. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And we discussed the heirship of Mr. Flitter at that time.
Yes, sir.
And you basically gave me the information that he had no children living at this time, other than the fact that he had adopted Terry Lynn, and she had passed away.
Yes.
And there are no other children that have been born or adopted that you know of, Mr. Flitter. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the other, if I ask you the same questions that Ms. Clapper has just asked you, would answer those same or similar answers. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's the witness.
All right, call your next witness, Ms. Clapper.
Okay, it would state your name for the court, please.
Tracy Duhan.
Okay, and Ms. Duhan, you've known James Bruce Flitter and Carol C. Flitter for how long?
Approximately 7 years.
Okay, and your basis of knowing them, you've been assisting them,
Yes,
going to doctors,
yes, ma'am.
buying groceries,
Yes,
everything that they've needed, because they pretty much are alone here, aren't they?
yes, they
All
are.
right. And if I were to ask you, okay, so you've known him for 7 years. You knew that Mr. Flitter was married twice, but the first marriage ended in divorce and no children.
Yes,
And Miss Flitter's, did you ever meet Terry?
I did not.
Okay, so you didn't know Terry, but your mom did.
Yes, ma'am.
And Terry has been dead since 2013.
Yes,
So you know that Mr. Flitter had no children
yes,
at the time of his death.
correct.
And so who would be the main heir of Mr. Flitter?
Miss Sue Carol C. Flitter.
All right. And has anybody, and you know that their property is just around the corner from where y'all live?
Yes, ma'am.
And has anybody promised you anything for your testimony today?
No.
No, you have no financial interest in the estate. You're just wanting to help her because she does need to administer her mortgage, her debt, her property.
Yes,
And you believe she would be a good person to do that.
yes.
So she knows it. Pass the witness.
Mr. Park.
Miss Duhan, you are the daughter of Miss Darlene Duhan, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I talked to you on January the 3rd, 2023, around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, correct?
Yes, sir.
And we discussed the estate of Mr. Flitter, and you acknowledged that the only children that he had was Tracy, and that you know of no other children that were born or adopted by Mr. Flitter, correct?
Correct. Carrie.
And if I ask you the same questions or similar questions that Ms. Clapper has asked you, give me the same answer. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
I'm
I ask you to enter the judgment determining heirships of the state of James Bruce Flitter that's on file with the court. And there is a need, as testified to before you today, for an administration of the estate because of debts and property.
All right, Mr. Park, you satisfied that Sue Carol Lynn Flitter is the only heir to the estate?
Yes, sir. I filed my report with the court and stating such.
Okay, then I'm approving the judgment determining heirship. And also order granting independent administration and letters of administration. Thank you, lady.
I would offer the proof of death and other facts into evidence to support that. Judge.
Okay. And it's accepted in evidence. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Have a good day, Richard.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, George, if you want to get your next clients in, we'll go ahead and go down to number 2.
Thank you.
The state of Irma A. Fails. Mr. Davidson. Good morning.
Morning,
sir.
Your Honor.
So, Christie, swear him in, please.
Sure, be happy to. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
I do.
And you may proceed, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Irma A. Fales died on November 30th, 2022, Baytown, Harris County, Texas, at the age of 71 years. This court has jurisdiction in venue and that she had a fixed place of residence here in Chambers County at the time of her death. To the best of my knowledge, the document that's been filed with the court dated May 27th, 1993 is her last will and testament. It was not revoked. Your Honor, I would ask that you take judicial notice that the original is in the court's file.
So done. It's in my hand.
Great. No state, governmental agency, or charitable organization is named as a devisee under the will. After the date the will was made, there were no children born to adopted by the decedent, nor was their marriage dissolved after the date that the will was made. Her will named her surviving spouse, Dario M. Fales, to serve as independent executor, but he predeceased the decedent. Alternatively, he named his daughter, she named her daughter Lois M. Fales, now known as Lois Raspberry, to serve as independent executor, to serve without bond. She is qualified and not disqualified to serve in that capacity. Your Honor, this is not a taxable estate. Would request that appraisers be waived and that the will be admitted to probate.
All right, everybody met the will of probate and authorize letters. Thank you, Counselor.
No, thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day.
You too.
Appreciate it.
Okay, good morning, Sharon. Cause number 1, Sharon, if you'll raise your right hand, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the information you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
Ms. Clapper, you may proceed.
Is your name Sharon Lee Lucas?
Yes.
No, so we're fine. Don't be nervous at all. And was your husband Darrell Wayne Lucas?
Yes.
And you were both residents of Chambers County for more than 6 months prior to his death?
Yes.
And you have 2 children?
Yes.
And both of those children have signed waivers of service and appearance as well as yourself, and approve of you becoming the executor of the estate.
Yes.
No problem there. Now, died on December 13th of 2022,
Yes.
a sudden heart attack on transport to the hospital.
Yes.
What a shock. But he was a resident of Chambers County for more than 24 years.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this court has jurisdiction. Y'all were married only one time. Is that correct?
Yes.
And 2 children were born, and no other child was born or adopted by your husband prior to his death.
Correct.
Now, he did leave a valid written will. I'm going to show you that will attached to actually before the court. You recognize the signature of Darrell Wayne Lucas?
Yes.
Seen it many times.
Many times.
In fact, you were present when he did his will.
Yes.
And the will was signed in front of Kathy Lawson and William Lawson
Yes.
in the presence of the notary Melissa Carnes.
Yes.
And there's a necessity to probate the will for various reasons, transfer of property, final debts at the end of his life. And no charitable organization is named in the will. You've read it.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
You're the only beneficiary,
Yes.
and you're willing to assume the responsibilities as executrix. And no governmental entity has a claim against the estate. There was no Medicaid, Medicare, not Medicaid or any other type of agency from the U.S. government.
Social Security.
That doesn't matter. Social Security is fine. Judge, we would offer the proof of death and other facts, which is essentially what she just entered, and ask that you admit the will to probate of Mr. Darrell Wayne Lucas and issue letters of executrix.
Okay, hereby admits the will of probate and authorized letters. Sharon, so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You have to wait and sign your oath.
Okay.
Yeah, Brian, he can come.
He's on a Zoom.
Oh, sure, good. I don't know. Is he on the Zoom?
I told him. I think he got the Zoom link. He was on it, but never was.
So he can't see? Does he need to?
He wanted to. I didn't want anything to be taken from him.
So he can, he can log in. I don't know how to do it, but I know this is being live streamed.
Can we go ahead?
Yeah, we can go.
I
ahead.
sent him the.
Judge, I had a Mr. Miller that was joining the session a couple of times, but I'm not sure if he
All
was
right, Judge,
having
we need to
issues.
just
He would
do
leave
this.
the session and come back.
Thank you.
And last time he left, he
Can you
never
hear
came
me?
back. So I'm not sure. He has the information now because he was making it in.
It's frozen.
Okay, so he has logged in, but then he logged back out or got kicked out or something happened, right? Marangeli?
Yes, Judge. I'm not sure if he was losing connection, but he would leave and then come back. And then when I would allow him in, he stayed for a little bit and then left the session again.
Okay, could y'all get a hold of him?
No.
Nah, it went straight to voicemail for me.
All right, he must not have a signal. Is he gonna testify or he just wanted to?
He was just gonna listen, Judge.
Okay, so whoever's going to testify, raise your right hand, please.
Raise your hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
Yes.
You can put your hand down and Ms. Clapper, you may proceed.
Okay, is your name Hillary Hall?
Yes.
Hillary Lynn Hall?
Yes.
And you are the daughter of Ruth Ann Forrest Miller,
Yes.
and you have been named in the will to become the independent executrix of her estate.
Yes.
And your mother, Ruth Ann Forrest Miller, died on December 20th, 2022 at Houston Methodist Baytown Hospital at the age of 71.
Yes.
And she had a permanent address here in Chambers County for more than 60 years prior to her death.
Yeah.
So this is home for all of you.
It is.
All right. Now,
And just for the record, I see Ryan has logged in, so he's on.
Okay.
okay.
All right, go ahead.
And your mom was married one time during her lifetime to Thomas Miller,
Yes.
divorced in cause number CB 23668 in the 253rd District Court of Chambers County on January 4th of 2008. Correct?
Yes.
And 3 children were born, you, Ross, and Ryan.
Yes.
And Ross is here today,
Mhm.
and Ryan is online. So your mom left a valid will. I know it well. And I'm going to show you that will now. And it was signed on, let's go back to the signature page. June the 27th of 2022. And in the presence of Rob Clapper, Georgia Clapper, and the notary Cynthia Clark.
Okay.
To be honest, I'll tell you that she knew she had advanced cancer at the time and wanted you children taken care of.
Right.
All right. So you're asking, and I'm not even going to ask if you know her signature. I saw it, so we're good. You are named, all 3 of you are named as beneficiaries, but you're named to handle the estate, and you're willing to assume that responsibility.
Yes.
And everyone has signed their waiver of service and appearance and agreement in these waivers of you to being the executrix. And you're asking the court to enter the will for probate. There is no Medicaid claim or any other governmental agency claim against your mom's estate, correct?
Correct.
And there is no charitable organization named. You 3 children are the sole beneficiaries of the estate.
Yes.
And for that reason, we are asking you, Judge, to enter the order admitting will to probate, authorizing letters testamentary so the children can do what their mom is expecting them to do.
Okay, everybody admits the will of probate and authorize letters.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Have a good day, guys.
Good to see you.
You too.
It's not that hard when you have a will. Make
No.
sure you have a will, guys. Get a will. You saw that first, or you had to bear through that first hearing with all that drama.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna get you to sign your oath. I should have had Miss Lindy stay.